Hello, I'm Crickets and welcome back to I Have a Story. In yesterday's video, I talked about the murder of Ralph Patrick. Well, today I'm here to talk about his daughter and, again, talking about the whole system in general. It's so much of it so bad. Here's another story and just how tragic it all is. Like I said, I spent every day with Ralph, and being in his 70s, he didn't feel comfortable driving anymore, so I drove him everywhere. And every morning we went and made rounds and visited different locals and had our little man sewing circle. How about that? I knew of some loose ends that Ralph had, and one of which was he had made a deal with Sawmill Mike to, I don't even remember what Ralph traded him for, but Ralph had an industrial sized table saw, commercial table saw, and I knew about it. Ralph took me over to the barn that it was being stored at and had been in this barn for many years at somebody else's property, and trying to figure out a way how we were going to get it up to Sawmill Mike. And Sawmill Mike had been giving Ralph and I slab wood for years, all the slab wood for free we want. The small stuff made great kindling, and the big stuff made great free firewood. Just cut the length and chuck it in the box. One of the things I love about living here is when you become in the circles of people who do, other people will do too. It's the way the world should work. People doing for each other, not just me, myself, and I. So, above that, I went and I grabbed one of my neighbors and we went and I picked up the table saw, and I'm the one who went and made the rounds and told the community what happened and Ralph's friends. But Ralph hadn't talked to his daughter in over 10 years. Hadn't talked to his ex-wife in over years, 10 years. And it broke his heart. But the things that his ex did were unbelievable. They started dating and got pregnant, and I swear people here, they don't understand the need for contraceptive. So many women here have met over, throughout decades, not just that I've met over decades, but throughout the decades having children, and I swear having football teams by the fathers could be a baseball team. We don't know. It's unbelievable. I really. So they got pregnant and then got married because she was pregnant. I found out that, and she's a very, very, very dark woman, and I understand and can understand a lot of it because I found out she has a very, very dark history and past as a child. I've heard about it from many members throughout the community and even throughout the elder community that it was very dark, very abusive. And it pisses me off that people knew this stuff was happening and nobody does shit about it. And look at the string of the terrible things that follow throughout all of it with all the people involved. And I'll say, when he was telling me stories about through their marriage about, he said he was laying in bed one night sleeping and she just dumps the dresser over on top of him in the bed, throwing stuff out the window, screaming and yelling at him. And he's going, I don't know what I even did. And I see both sides of a story when I hear those, but I'll tell you what, I actually saw it. Unbelievable. Like, I wish I'd have never gone. So I'd never met his daughter before, but I knew where she lived. His daughter's, at the time, I think was, I want to say 33 or 34. I don't know exactly which. But I went to tell her what had happened to her father. Like I said, I'd never met her or her mom. I just went over there and knocked on the door. Another moment that I wish I would have recorded because it was so unbelievable. Like, you don't walk into a situation like that recording stuff, but I feel like I gotta have a paparazzi following me around all the time because I can't believe the stuff that takes place. And this is another one that's just unbelievable. I got trapped in that house for an hour and a half and couldn't leave, and I was scared to leave. And even after hearing what she had done to Ralph after their divorce and just unbelievable abusive alienation between him and his daughter. Ralph owned two properties, the property that had the house on it and the property next door, which he had horses and it was a horse stable. But after the divorce, because she just wanted to wreak havoc on his life, every time he would go over there to water, every day he'd go water the horses and spend time with his horses. And the thing is the barn and the side that you pull up on faces the opposite side of the house. But yet she would still constantly call the cops and tell the cops that he's out there with a gun threatening her. Cops kept coming out. She kept filing reports. Never once found a gun. Never once had any evidence that he had done anything other than he was just there taking care of his horses. But finally, the judge had enough of it and told him that sell the property and the horses, and if he ever steps foot on his own property again, even though she's the one who lied, falsified court documents again, once again, it don't matter. You're a man. You are automatically damned. And he had to give away his horses and sell the property because he couldn't even go back there to take care of them. All because a woman wanted to ruin his life. If that is not bad enough. Again, I'd never met this woman before. First time I'd ever been to their house, and their house is absolutely horrid. No doors open, no windows are ever open. No curtains are ever open. When I was married, I drove my wife by there at the time and said, yeah, that's their house. And she goes, somebody actually lives there? No ways. That house is vacant. Nope, that's the house they live in. The day I was in that house, her mom told me, my house looks like this because nobody will come and take care of it for me. This is a person who's never worked, done anything in her life to take care of herself. She's had people take care of her whole life. And abuse her whole childhood, from what I've heard, again, throughout the whole community. Severe abuse, bad. I don't even want to. But it doesn't mean you put her in charge of a child and let her abuse the child. So when I sat down to tell them what had happened, Mom sat there and told her daughter that Ralph was murdered because he was raping the woman who murdered him. I'll tell you what, I wanted to puke. This is there's so much more that she said. But let me tell you something. When I told that story yesterday about how Ralph would go over to the house to bring food to the grandkids, and her husband would come out strapped with guns, there's a reason why he was. The two of them, the husband and wife, his adopted daughter and husband, were both drug addicts. Both have severe mental disorders. And they fight with each other abusively. It's not a one-way street. He doesn't just abuse her, she abuses him. And one day they're going at it, and she was 8 months pregnant, and he grabbed her by the neck and slammed her against the wall. Ralph, at 72 years old, walked over and clocked him right in the jaw and said, "Don't you lay a hand on a woman, especially my daughter." Because he looked at her as his daughter. Part of why he was the only one still there for her in the end. and nobody else was. She sat there telling her daughter that her dad stole from her and property that Ralph never owned. It was never Ralph's property. It was other family members' property, but Ralph stole it from his daughter, and on and on. Well, I bit my tongue the whole time. I mean, after I know and I've been through all the abuse I've been through and the things that I've seen and what Ralph told me, and now I'm seeing it firsthand just how disgusting and sick and twisted just this woman is. I'm here telling them that her dad died. And Mom goes straight into a rant about how evil and demonic he is when he didn't do those things. And so much more. We went on and on and on, an hour and a half worth of just, I couldn't believe it. I told her I was planning a funeral, and I mean, I wasn't there for the mom, I was there for the daughter. And even through it all, I wanted to be there for the daughter because I understand she didn't deserve all that abuse that Mom had done to her. These are two hermits locked in a house in her 30s that her mom passes away. I don't know whatever's going to happen to that daughter. She's not a healthy person. But then I sat there and told them that I was planning a funeral and I wanted the daughter to attend the funeral. But the mom jumps right up and says, no, we're his family, you're not his family, even though she hadn't talked to him in like 10 years. Alienated, all the abuse, all of it, but now all of a sudden she's his family, but at the same time is going to tell me he doesn't deserve a funeral and he's not getting one. And that her daughter, she used her daughter as power of attorney over everything. Because again, nobody knows if Ralph had a will, and all the paperwork, documents, his personal information was all stolen by the woman who murdered him. It was stolen by her husband the day he was murdered afterwards. I mean, God, this is all sick and twisted, all of it, all of it. And the thing is, I know what was supposed to go to who. It was all supposed to go to his grandkids of the woman who murdered him. So even after she sat there and said that they're his family, they're the ones in charge, she's got the power of attorney and they're using it, they're the ones who care so much about him, but yet he doesn't deserve a funeral. I said all of this right in front of their daughter. Started asking me about bank account. Do you know how much money he had in the bank? That's our money. Do you know about his Social Security? That's mine. I get his Social Security. Did nothing but damn the man throughout his whole life. Damned him when you found out he died. You're the ones who claim to be family, and you're the ones who care so much, but you're still going to damn him all the way to the end and take everything in greed. This is also I talk about what goes on in these court systems and illegal amounts of child support. This has been going on for decades, and it happened to Ralph. Ralph was a union carpenter, but here things are seasonal. Everybody, for the most part, because it's very tourism and it gets very cold, there's very few jobs left that are year-round that are not seasonal. So most work here is seasonal. And I've heard this now from Ralph told me. I heard it the video I made about I had a government employee come and visit me. He told me the same story. The judge takes and asks for a year's worth of paycheck stubs, finds the one that the person worked the most overtime, and then bases their child support off of that highest possible number. That's not how child support's supposed to work. Again, I talked about my case. They charged me double what I was supposed to be paying because she said I made that much, not because my 1099s are... When I tell you men are being damned to the point of homelessness, it is. That's illegal, it's corrupt, it's wrong, it's immoral. But yet it's happening. God, I don't even want to go down the rest of that in this video about how Ralph was even able to survive and what it took for him to even be able to survive, or else he would have been homeless even at 70 years old. But that's for another video. I feel so bad for his daughter. She does not deserve the life that she has been forced into. And imagine being 35 years old and still living at home. All right. Being 35 years old and still living at home and not having a job and not having any skills or any way to survive without, like I said, and to have all that pain inside of her from what she has been forced to fed that was wrong about her dad. And if it all isn't bad enough, Ralph tried fighting it. But this is what our systems support. Not a damn bit of it is about the children. The entire thing is damning men and taking advantage of whatever people are trying to get for their own gain out of it all. When I say the system isn't broken, it's sick and twisted is what it is. It's not broken, it's damned. All of it is.